success been so far?
First of all, I'd like to say how delighted I am by this opportunity you're providing us with. This is a very important debate devoted to agriculture resilience in a context of global climate change. Prior to go back to your question, in terms of climate change, I'd like to dwell on the consequences which are quite dire for most African countries, particularly for the Sahelian countries where Senegal is located, where I'm from, and talk about the efforts of the both farmers and the government because of the cycle of flooding and drought. It's infernal beyond the deterioration of the soil via droughts, desertification. As you are aware, the Sahara Desert neighbors West Africa and Sahelian countries, and the effects are immediate on the soil. And on desertification, you have to link climate change. So this brings a new variation, a certain uncertainty in terms of African agriculture. A lot of efforts were done to modernize agriculture. The Rockefeller Foundation, the Secretary of State Kerry and Dr. Biden mentioned this. A lot of efforts were undertaken so as to modernize African agriculture, mechanization, increasing the yield based on selecting the right seeds. But all these efforts are reduced to naught because of erratic rainfall that is not well channeled. In the Sahel, we were supposed to have bumper crops, but all the seeds were reduced to nothing. So it's this lack of predictability makes us so very vulnerable facing climate change. Now, regarding the non-public sector, the private sector, our needs in terms of our investments are huge, enormous. The government alone, the public sector cannot alone yield the results that we're expecting. We said that 60% of arable lands for a continent of over 30 million square kilometers. This is huge resources that we have to manage. But the private sector must play a part, so we need a private-public partnership to exploit these lands, and you have to take into account the family farmer. Whilst modernizing, you should not kill traditional family farming. You need a combination of both. You need the traditional farmers, and I support Mrs. Zuma in terms of the role of women in African agriculture, but also the role and the place of youth, because agriculture is not exclusively the only sector that enables us to feed Africa, but it is the sector that provides the greatest amount of jobs. So you need a combination of these PPPs so that the governments, while availing lands via covenants that are balanced, should be able to attract the private sector. And I welcome AGOA, but things should be more visible in West Africa, where we have this water stress, these climate variations, and we are already on the right course. But to conclude, we have to develop irrigation.